Hello! I'm excited to finish sewing up my Michelle's today. I really tried to get the kids watching a movie before I started, and they're still arguing about the movie that they want to watch, so we'll see how this goes. And the baby is not down for a nap either, but my oldest son is working on that for me too. So hopefully some of you guys can jump online while I get started. Now I've already done a pretty large portion of it. Like I've already cut all my fabric, and I've sewn the straps onto the sides of the bodice, and I've already done the roll hem on the flutter sleeves. So I tried to get some of the work done ahead of time. Let me pull up my pattern. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to start now is I have not finished top stitching. And so I'm going to take this center Sweetheart bodice panel, and I'm going to go ahead and top stitch this. One thing that used to drive me crazy was I felt like whenever I top stitched a Sweetheart bodice, I would just always really notice like my mistakes or like not being perfect. And so I've started putting a pin, like a vertical pin, like right in the center. And so whenever I stop to turn with the needle down to come back up the other side, I'll know exactly where it's supposed to be. I hope that makes sense. Hi, Felicia. Okay, so I'm just going to top stitch this part. I like to use a 3 length for my top stitching. Alright, and I go really slow when I top stitch a Sweetheart. And it is one thing that if I don't get it right, I will undo the stitches to try again. Because it's one of those things that will drive me crazy every time she wears it. If I see that like, oh, I should have gone 1 stitch farther, you know. Oh, that's a good idea with the fabric marker. I always lose those kinds of tools. So I don't have, like I'll have one, but then I'll lose it. So I don't know. For some reason I cannot, fabric markers are one of those things I cannot keep up with. I'm going super slow. I normally don't go that slow. Okay. Alright, so I've top stitched the center Sweetheart bodice. And I'm going to go ahead and start, you know what, before I start constructing the bodice, I'm going to go ahead and gather, or at least sew the gathering stitch on my flutter sleeves. Okay, and I kind of wrote out earlier so I wouldn't have to skip around, and now I can't find where I put it down. That's okay. I wrote like the order that I could do things in, so it was like not, you know, a waste of time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and gather the flutter sleeves, and I'm going to do 2 widths, so it'll be a double flutter, so I'm going to have a wide and then a more narrow one to layer on top of it. And when stuff is really short like this, I actually do backstitch on this when I start, and then I don't backstitch on the other end because it's not long enough for me to feel like it's worth having both ends. Like, you know how you can gather by both ends, but I feel like when it's a pretty short item, that's not a good use of time. There's one. I think I'm going to go ahead and increase my tension so I can slightly gather it as I go. I'm just snipping off the rolled hem edge of that piece. Okay, when I increase the tension, I also grab this top y'all can't really see, but I grab, it's balanced carefully, or I pick my phone up, but I just grab the top thread up here and hold it a little bit. I remember I was always like mystified why like just increasing the tension worked for so many people. It never worked for me. But if I just hold it between like the tips of my finger, it will gather just slightly as it goes, or it could do, you could do more than just slightly if you wanted. I do leave extra thread just in case I gathered it too much. But look, that's all just from holding the top threads. That's probably definitely too much, so I'm glad I left extra. So I can kind of lengthen that out a little bit. All right, 2 more to go. Those kids are all being loud out down there. All the threads on top. Wait, hold on. Sorry, there's questions. Which are you doing? 1 or 2? I'm doing 2 flutters. So I'm going to do the wide and a narrow flutter. Do I hold all the threads on top? So I just, like on my machine, so I'll back stitch the first couple of stitches. Okay, and then I just reach up and I hold this top thread. And I've increased my tension to 9. I don't know if it's like just my machines that I've never been able to get it to gather just by increasing the tension. So basically I'm just increasing the tension more because I'm holding it. And I just hold that top, the top thread as I sew down the strap. And then it gathers it as I go. But I did not do this one, so let me gather that one real quick. If I can find which end I started at. And that was the back stitch. I'll probably need to adjust this when I'm ready to actually lay it on the sleeves. But this will save me a little time if they're all slightly gathered. Okay, all right, so now I'm going to start constructing the bodice. If you have a pattern and you're looking at it, I'm going to try to see where I am. Oh, what else I forgot to top stitch? I have not top stitched the sash pieces yet either, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Turn my tension back down. I forget that all the time, and I will wonder why top stitching looks funny later. It's because I had the tension up to like 9. Okay, so I'm just going to go around the edge of the sash. On my machine, I have to increase on the other settings as well to get it together. Are you talking about on your serger or on your sewing machine? What other settings do you increase? I don't know. Oh, put it down. Jessica, if you're on the sewing, on your sewing machine, so besides your tension here, what else do you increase? Oh, this is the worst. I got my tip, the thread length, and the other one. It's like your stitch length. Oh no, I did have my stitch length increased, for sure. I guess I'm not sure what other one I can increase. Aw, thanks, Felicia. Oh, you're sweet. Okay, so this is the worst. I'm at the tip of my sash, and I can't get it to turn the corner. So I just am going to clip that and start anywhere. Down the angle. I'm trying to go like down the angle. And so when that happens, I'll just start further down. It's like where I turned it, I didn't have enough fabric to keep it going. So I'm just going to start further down the corner of the sash and then back stitch to get it to meet up. I'm not doing a great job on that. That's so annoying to me. It's one of those things that really irritates me, but perfection is not always possible. So I was telling a friend this week that I'm not a perfectionist, like at all, like in my normal life. Hi, Elizabeth. And they were like, well, then how do you sew patterns? Like, how do you do that if you say you're not a perfectionist? And I was like, dumbstruck. I guess I'd never really thought about, I really am a perfectionist when it comes to sewing and like drafting patterns. I mean, you have to be, because you're like drawing lines to like the 1/8 of an inch perfection, you know? Okay, so top stitch one. So I was like, I'd never thought about it before, and I was like, I'm gonna really think about that. Like, why is it that I don't consider myself a perfectionist on anything else, but for sewing, I actually really do enjoy the details and getting the details right. But normally, I'm more of like a big picture, big idea, like not a detail person. I love my detail-oriented friends. Or like, you know, when you have groups of friends and, you know, somebody's going to help plan and someone's going to remember all the details, and I'm not that person. Except I do. Let's see if I can turn this corner. Oh, why am I getting so close to the edge on these? Yay! Okay, got that one to go. So, how about you guys? Are y'all perfectionists when you sew, or like in real life? What do you think? I really do want to spend some more time thinking about that, because I really do consider that like part of my personality, that I'm not detail oriented. Okay, all right. So I have. Now I remember. I'm also going to gather. Maybe I'll wait to do that. I was going to gather the sash pieces too, but I'll wait. Okay, so now I'm going to start putting the bodice together. So if you were looking at the pattern, you can either attach the sash like here at the center bodice panel, or you can attach it in the back of the side. And so I'm attaching mine in the back. Hey Norma. So Tiffany says she's not a perfectionist when you sew. But that's so funny. That's true. That's like the opposite of what I do. And it takes me a really long time to sew. So like when cutting out fabric takes forever. Like that's something that takes me a really long time, cutting fabric. That's really curious to me. And that's funny, Tiffany, that you're opposite, like in life versus sewing. It's really cool. Okay, so if you have the pattern, I'm going to skip down to the bodice construction to step 11. Okay, so I'm going to start with my main bodice pieces. Okay, so I'm going to use the apples for the side bodice. I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to do facing up towards me. Okay. If I was brave, I would pick my phone up, but I'm afraid that I won't be able to set it back up correctly. Okay, so I just laid the side bodice facing me. Okay, next I'm going to take the center panel, and mine's the same on both sides, but you want to do the right side down on, let's see, on the side. I will go ahead and pick it up to show you all, because cross your fingers that I can get it back situated. Oh my gosh, y'all, the kids picked Dora to watch. I'm so sorry. If you're watching this to get away from your normal life and you're having to watch Dora, or listen to my kids watch Dora, can y'all turn it down just a little bit? Thanks. Okay, here, let me show you. Okay, so let me see if I can flip it. Okay, so let me do it over here. Here's the, I'll do it here. So the side is facing right side up. These are both the same fabric, but pretend this is the right side. If you have two different colors, two different fabrics for your lining, it would be down like this, okay? And then I'm going to take my lining piece for that side, and I'm going to place it on top. Okay, so I'm going to pin it in place, and I'm just going to sew right down that way. All right, let's hope I can redo that. Hey guys, for real, can you turn it down a little? Okay, so when you do this part 2 in the pattern, you press the shoulder seams open. You just want to make sure that the shoulder seams are lined up well too. I also don't pin a whole lot when I sew, but for pieces like this that could move around, I like to pin them in place if I'm not going to baste it first. I probably in the pattern said to baste it first, because that's the most secure way to do it, and probably professional. Okay, I'm going to make sure my side seams, or my shoulder seams are matched. Okay. I'm going to redo those. Okay. Alright, so now I'm just going to sew down the long part right here. Thanks, Tiffany. Let's see. So Stephanie, you hate cutting too, Tiffany. Yeah. It's hard when you're having to like make changes as you go, like to the cutting chart. So like if you're having to do a width from one and a length from another. So my daughter is size 4 for her chest. So I just do a 4 for the bodice, but she's taller. She just turned 6. So she's taller, so I do a 5 for the length. But I just usually adjust the skirt for her and then leave the bodice as is. So Stephanie says, you're a perfectionist all around. Oh, I can't read all of your comments. I'm trying to like make it go up so I can read it. I might have to come back and read it later. Okay. All right. She's a 4 width and 12 length now. Yeah. That's crazy to me. Okay, so when you open it up, okay, you have your center sweetheart bodice, and then this is on the side. Okay, so now I'm going to lay the other side facing up. So if I can find my lining. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so you flip it around. Alright, so this is the other side of the center right here. So this is the center and this is like under the arm. Okay, so here's the piece I just sewed. So now this is the front for sure, right? Because it's, even though it's the same as the lining, this is the side with the main fabric, the main bodice fabric. Okay, so I'm going to lay it over like this to line up at the bottom and the sides. And then I'm going to take this side with the lining and then we're going to sew right like that. Okay. Yeah, the adjustments are hard, but they're totally worth it for the bodice to fit right and things like that. And it's a benefit of sewing for your kids, is that you can give them things that actually fit. Okay, I'm going to sew down that side. know why Dora is like, can you guys hear Dora in the background? When I babysat in college, the kids watched Dora every single day. And so I have to watch Dora a lot with my own kids, but I have a couple of Dora videos. This one is for Juliet. Juliet is my middle daughter who just turned 6 yesterday. Okay, so here we go. There's that part of the bodice so far. All right, let me make sure I'm still on track. Okay, so now we're going to start working on, wait, let me see if I can start. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go back and press these seams open right here at the shoulder. If you take the time to do this, your end product really will look a lot better. Thanks, Tiffany. At age 5 right now. Yeah, some kids just grow differently. Like they'll grow out and then up. That's what I've always thought too. Or they grow up and then like out. Or except Natalie, she just grows up. I don't think my iron is super hot, so I'm gonna let it warm up for a second. Okay, the next part that we're gonna do is attaching the flutters to the bodice. I'm gonna go ahead and stretch out where I gathered them a little bit too much. How did I pick my fabrics? Well, okay, when I went to Joann's, this is all from Joann's, I have loved this fabric like forever. I don't know what it is about it. I've always loved it. And so I've had it for a while, but I've had trouble matching it. Like finding the coordinating ones, and probably I waited to buy it, like probably at the time they had coordinating ones like with it, and I just didn't, I waited to buy it till it was probably on clearance, and they didn't have the coordinating ones. So the flowery ones that I'm pairing with it, they weren't like meant to go with it, but like this color, the little leaves and the apples, it's not really green and it's not really yellow, and so I really thought it matched like really well, like the green in this, which is the same as this one. And I've made lots of things with this fabric. I love this fabric right here. Where is that one? I just tried to fold it and put it up just so you can see. This one, I love it. I made a Mary's. I think the reversible Mary's that I made was out of this fabric, and I just love it. I mean, it's from Joann's, but it's olive and Piper. I just fell in love with it. I just think it's awesome. Really gorgeous. And I also like to pair it with this one. So these like definitely go together. Like you can tell the flowers are the same. So I liked this one. And then this gray one that matched it, I just picked it up, but then I realized it was of the same, like all the little branches are the same. But, so I just picked one color, that yellowy orange color that I felt like matched it really well. Alright, I'm going to press open those side seams. Okay? What's wrong, Jonah? Okay, let's not pull people's hair, guys. So, I'm watching my sister's kids, too. So, let's see. All the ages of all the kids that I'm watching right now downstairs are 14, 12, 12, 11, 8, 6, 6, 3, and 22 months. So, we're hoping they, like, you know, don't get in too much trouble. Okay, so I just pressed those open right here so that when you eventually have it folded down and together when it's all constructed, it's going to lay a lot nicer than if you skip that step. So I like to do it. Hi, Tasha. Okay, so now we're going to attach the sleeves. So if you're doing a double flutter, you want to do the narrow one first because you want that to be closer to the main bodice fabric when it flops out. So you're going to open up your bodice like this. Here, let me move the camera again and I'll show you. Okay. All right, so you want to open up. So this is my lining and this is my main fabric. Okay, so I have it opened up and I'm going to lay the flutter right side facing the main fabric. And it's going to start from up here and it's going to come down this curve like right where it starts curving. So let me see what I finally decided in the pattern to say. Just kind of like right here where it stops. I can't remember how I worded it in the pattern. But you stop like right here where it starts curving and going straight right here. And so I'm going to pin that in place. And then I'm going to do the larger flutter on top of it, like this, down. It may turn into like a sewing / parenting show. Okay. Hopefully they will get it together. Alright, so as I'm pinning, just make sure that you keep the bodice open because you are only pinning to the main fabric. And you may have to adjust a little bit just based on how you gathered it. So, do you guys, hi Melissa, are your kids like all back to school yet? We homeschool, so back to school, I will have more time to sew actually because my big kids have, we do classical conversations and so they have work that they're doing. They're both in their challenge program. You're familiar with CC. So they have like a 1 day a week teacher and they have like all their assignments and then I check in with them and help them with their stuff, but like they already know what to do. Hope that makes sense. And then Juliet she just turned 6, so we did some kindergarten curriculum last year, but she'll be doing like more rigorous, like more things this year. So she's really excited. So it'll be more of like it'll be more first grade, but probably also a little bit of just like kinder first. But I will still have more time to sew, I think. Okay, so I'm going to be a little lazy. Normally I would baste that in place, but I'm going to go ahead and pin the wider flutter on top. And so when you're pinning that one, it's going to be facing the right side of that flutter, facing the right side of your main fabric too. So it's going to be on top of the wrong side of that fabric, just like that. Hey Mallory! So you have 1 more week before school starts. My nieces and nephews go back Monday. So I've been helping watch them. They normally go to like kids club, like if the after school program has a summer program, but they don't have it the last 2 weeks of summer. So we've had fun. Lots of cousin time, which is normally fun and exciting. And they're all so close in age that they really do have a good time together. Alright, so I'm going to pin this in place. Do you guys find that you have more time to sew during the school year? Or like less time? Fall is always hard for me. Like just, I think getting into the new routines with homeschooling and everything. I feel like everything, sports, my oldest daughter plays volleyball, even just like schedules with normal stuff, just everything kind of changes. So, all right, so I have that in place. I'm going to go ahead and sew them down. Sorry for the cough. Okay. And I'm actually gonna just baste that in place so that when I do the lining right sides together, I leave room for that too. Oh yay! Well, welcome, Liz. I loved watching videos, and it was more like YouTube stuff when I was learning how to sew. But it's just so much easier when you can like see what people are doing, and I feel like you can learn anything. Well, I like to learn by watching. So for me, learning. That's why I love PDF patterns. When I started sewing, my mom sewed for us when we were younger. And so, like, I knew how to read a pattern only just because, like, I mean, I saw her doing it, but not necessarily, like, I knew how to do it. And I really quickly realized it was like another language. And so I was having to call my sister a lot and, like, ask her, like, what does this mean? What does that mean? Because it doesn't really explain it well. And, yeah, it was just really hard. So when I found CKC, I was like, yes, like, this spoke to me. You know, it was my language. It had pictures. I loved the group. It was so encouraging, and I loved sharing pictures of what we make. It was just really fun. Okay, so I have the flutters basted in place. All right, so you can do more sewing. That's awesome. That's awesome, Elizabeth. So you have time off during the week without people at home. That's often what I kind of daydream about. Because if I have time, it's usually me having to, like, escape, like, get out. It's not time at home, when really I feel like sometimes, like, just time at the house by yourself would be really, like, luxurious. You have less time, Heather. Yeah, volunteering and all that stuff just goes up during the school year too. Okay, so I'm going to get ready to sandwich these together so that I can sew the lining and the main bodice right side together on the straps. So to do this, I'm going to tuck the ruffles out of the way. There's not like a science to it. I'm just kind of squishing them. I'm squishing them in so that I can pin the straps right sides together like this. So I'm just tucking it inside as I go. I'm going to tuck those inside. It's pretty terrible if you accidentally sew your ruffle into it. I've done that before. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it just feels like it in the moment. I will say, because I've made all the different versions of the top, that the one with the ruffle is easier to turn right side out because you can just grab the ruffle and pull it. And otherwise, it's a little bit harder to get the, to turn it right side out. But it's nice to have something to hold on to. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of show you what I'm doing here. As I'm getting closer to the curve, I'm just going to take the center bodice and push it down. So it's like going to hang down in between so that I can keep putting the sides of the bodice right side together. And that part's pretty clear in the pattern. I just like have it with an arrow, like just pull it down so you can get it out of the way. Okay. All right, so when you get to this part, we're actually only going to sew from the bottom of the strap to the curve, and we're going to stop about here right after we sew the flutters section, okay? And the reason is because we're going to, after we do this, we're going to have to still attach the strap to the inside before we sew that section. So I'm going to go ahead and sew that part. I'm going to stop like after I do the flutter curve area. Okay, I think I'm going to try to sew, so I'm looking at the right side fabric. I didn't pin that way though, so it's a little awkward. Okay, so if you lengthened your stitch, make sure you go back down at this part. So I'm going to back stitch there where I'm starting, because I'm not starting at the very end, I'm starting at a curve. And with all of that ruffle poked in there, I have to try really hard to press and make sure that to try to get the mane and the lining like really close together, if that makes sense. Okay. All right, another important step, this is for Michelle's. Elizabeth is asking which pattern I'm sewing. I'm sewing at Michelle's, which is a new release this week. Okay, so now I'm going to clip the curve right here, just that when I pull it out, it's going to lay nicer. And it's kind of thick because I did the double ruffle. Makes me a little nervous, clipping that. If you have any from the curve sticking out, you can trim that off as well. Let's see. So Tiffany, y'all have football practice that starts? Yes, absolutely. Once the kids are playing sports, life is so different. Joelle plays volleyball. She's like on the junior high team. We have a homeschool volleyball league in town. And it's like, you know, I think it's normal. It's just 2 practices a week, but then when they have games, it can be more than that. And it can be really overwhelming. And like, I have 5 children. Thank goodness only one of them wants to play sports right now. I don't know what I would do otherwise. Okay, so now I'm going to just gently pull the flutter sleeve down. Just going to reach up here in between and start tugging. Okay, and it will come out really easily. And yay, I didn't get anything caught in there. Yay. All right, so there is this side of the bodice. So now we're gonna do the flutters on the other side. I'm so bad about pulling strings out as I go, but when I wait until the end, it's like a nightmare. All right, so I'm going to open up the other side, and I'm going to pin the narrow ruffle first and then the wide ruffle on top of it, and then enclose it just like I did before. Oh, leave it out. They're about to sing the map song on Dora. I do like that song. I feel like you can sing that one forever. I think it's so cute when kids like talk back to the cartoons when they're like, say map. Some of my kids never did it. They were like, I'm not talking back to you. And then other of my kids like love talking back, map. They're all different. I'm just comparing to make sure that my ruffles are stopping on the same spot of the bodice. Uh-oh, my battery's 10%. Let's see if I can get a plug. Hey, Joelle, could you bring me the long charging cord? The long phone charging cord?
It's down here?
Yeah, could you bring it to me? And could you bring me a glass of water? It's really hot upstairs. I guess that's normal. Our AC does not work as well upstairs as it does downstairs. Okay. I think the girls are doing pedicures downstairs. Okay, every time I put a pin in my mouth, did y'all, I'm sure y'all did see that article went around Facebook. It kind of goes around every now and then about the lady who was sewing and she put a pin in her mouth and like coughed or something and inhaled the pin and then she like almost died. I think about it every time, but I still put it in my mouth, don't I? Not smart, guys. Okay. Aw, well hopefully this will build your confidence, Michelle. I did list it as an intermediate pattern. Somebody else was asking, like, what makes it intermediate? Really, I mean, it could be beginner. I guess I feel like, as a designer, if it's right in between, I feel like it's more... Okay, can you help me figure out... Because I have to leave my phone here. So, let's see what we could unplug there. You just don't unplug the sewing machine. You can unplug that one, yeah. Alright, my oldest daughter is going to try to help me. Anyways, so the testers, just because it had different... The way I constructed it was different than we've done other things. Not hugely different, just a little. It felt more difficult. If that makes sense. I got it. Oh. Thank you, sweetie. Thanks. It felt more difficult, like just certain aspects of it, and so this is going to be awkward now. Uh-oh. I should have just like overcharged before. You got any ideas, Joel? Oh, wait. Okay. Like I'm just going to balance it. Wanna see it? Hi. I'm going to balance it really well. It's like sitting propped up on the curve. Anyway, so I did list it intermediate just because it's like the bodice is constructed so differently, which is why I was glad I could do it with y'all to show you it's really not that hard. It's just kind of different. I had just like certain aspects of it that I wanted to keep of the bodice. Like I really wanted the sleeves, I really wanted this back bodice and side bodice to be one piece, or like this part of the bodice to be one piece and not two, and then that just kind of meant that we had to do the straps different. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and base the ruffles in place here. Hi, Renee. Alright, uh-oh, she unplugged the sewing machine. Hold on. We're going to need that. Okay, we're good now. Power to the sewing machine. Alright. I'm going to base those on. Hi, Lila. Thanks for jumping on, guys. Hi, Melissa. Okay. All right, have them basted on. And now I'm going to put the sides right side together. Okay, so if you can see, what I'm going to be doing is folding the ruffles inside. I am going to like tuck them, squish them in there nicely. And then I'm going to be folding the lining over so that it can be right sides together all the way down. And then the middle of your bodice is just going to hang down here in the center because you just want to keep it out of the way while you're doing that. Hi, Sadie. Okay. I don't want to be overconfident in my tucking since I didn't mess it up last time. But it's really irritating if you have to seam rip that. Another tip too is like when you get to the shoulder section. Oh, see, I messed up right there. But you want to make sure that the sides that you've pressed open are like matching up again right there. I'm going to make sure my iron is still heated. I like the idea, thank you, Renee. I like the idea of having an iron that doesn't turn off. But that also scares me. Do you guys have irons that you just leave on all the time? I have a curling iron for the first time that does that, and it makes me really nervous. I love the ruffles on this one. They're not super contrasting, so I was a little second guessing my choice, but I think I'm going to like it. Sorry guys, this part's kind of boring. Thanks, Tiffany. Okay, so I have it pinned. And again, I'm not going to sew the side part here. I'm just going to sew the strap section and then down the curve, like right there. And I'm going to sew with the side up that I basted with the right. So I'm going to be looking at the wrong side of the right side of the fabric so I can see the basting line and make sure that I'm sewing on the other side of it so that there's enough, so that there's no like, I don't have to pull any threads or anything later. All right. Hi, Darby. Do the live sews happen often? We all try to do them. It's kind of nerve-wracking. We have a bunch that are posted on YouTube of like past ones, and so if Tiffany's still on, maybe she can answer. But if we do a live sew, I think that we try to then post them on our YouTube channel so that people can find them. And yes, we are going to try to be doing more live sews because it is really helpful to be able to see different aspects of a pattern before you purchase it, or even just before you make it. You'll feel more confident going into it. So we're glad you guys like them. If we know you like them, it's definitely motivating to get on. I will admit, sometimes it's hard, just because, I mean, you know, we're nervous like anybody else about, you know, what our sewing room looks like, or I did put makeup on for y'all today. The kids were like, Emmy, they call me Aunt Emmy. They're like, Aunt Emmy, are you going somewhere today? I was like, no, but I'm doing a live video, so put makeup on. All right, I'm going to clip the curves again, just so that section will turn out well. I really need to sharpen my scissors. Okay. All right, so to turn it right side out, if you add the ruffles, it's really simple. If you didn't add the ruffles, it just takes a little bit more time. Yeah, so Tiffany did confirm they get added to our YouTube channel. If you don't watch our YouTube channel, there's so many awesome tutorials. And even on the blog too, like I'll go in and search our blog and find so many amazing tutorials, and a lot of them will have like a video link in there too. Yeah, yes, Darby, you should totally check them out. It's really great. And a lot of our patterns will even link. I know that like I've done a tutorial, and I don't know if it's one that's open or not. I don't remember, but it's like for a placket of a skirt. We just have a lot of different ones. So like if it's a different or new technique that we haven't had in a previous pattern, sometimes the designer will add a video into the pattern, like a link to it, you know? Okay, I'm just trimming all that excess, those annoying threads. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, let me see if I need to press this yet. I think I do need to go ahead and press it. Yes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and press my bodice at this point. And I think my iron is not on the screen, but I will be right back. Yes, totally agree, Tiffany. It's so much better to have a visual for stuff that's new and different. Even for me, if I'm learning something new, I will just search on YouTube too to see how different people do things differently. And a lot of times, like, there's not necessarily a right or wrong way to do something. There's just different ways of doing it. And so it's really interesting to see different techniques. So I'm just pressing the straps of the bodice. I really like ironing though, so if you don't love ironing, you could probably skip it there and do it later. Y'all, it's so cute. Okay, so we're getting ready to do the back. Here it is so far. Hey, it's turning out so cute. All right. Yes, it is great. I'm really glad they saved the videos too. It's really helpful. Okay, all right, so now we're gonna get ready to do the back of the bodice. Sorry, my strap ended up longer on one side. I think I didn't measure correctly when I cut. Okay, so I already did the elastic of the back bodice section. So there's two options on the bodice. Let me kind of show you with it open. It might make more sense. So this option that I'm doing has a narrow piece, and so there's the elastic part doesn't go to the top of the back, it goes to the bottom of the back. And then in the girls pattern, there is another measurement. So if you would rather this go all the way to the top and have fabric, you know, like connecting all the way down, you could choose and do either one. So that option is in there. For the babies, there was it was barely any difference. And so we didn't add that one onto the baby one. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We go ahead and skip. At this point, if you're following in the pattern, I'm on step 17. Okay, so I am gonna switch it around and hold the phone so you guys can see exactly what I'm gonna do here. All right. Ooh, okay, all right, guys, here's gonna be the struggle of battery power. All right, I'm gonna unplug for this part. All right. All right, so for this part, we're now gonna be working here on the side. Remember I told you we're not gonna sew all the way to the edge. We're actually gonna leave it open like this. So we're gonna open up the side. And if you are attached to the sash here at the center, you've already done that in the pattern, but that's not how I'm doing it for this one. So we're gonna attach it in the back. So you're going to take your sash and you're going to attach it right here. I am going to pleat mine right here. You can either just pleat it, and I usually just, I will just probably do a little fold like this to give me some space on top and bottom. Or you can just gather it slightly. Okay, so that's going to go on first. And then you're going to take the elastic piece, and then it's going to go on top right here. Okay, and then I'm going to base that in place, and then we'll keep going with the next step. Okay, so let me plug my phone back in. Sorry, y'all. I'm just glad I've been able to figure out how to prop it up. Okay. All right, so let me pin that in place. So like I said, you can gather it if you want it to be exact, but I'm just going to kind of poke it in there so that it's just slightly gathered. The pattern says to gather it. All right, so I have the sash, and now I'm going to place the back. This is what I'm technically calling the back bodice, even though it's really only like a small section. It's not the whole back, because this side wraps around farther. Part of the reason why the straps are done so differently too. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and base that in place. And then we're going to do insert the strap before we sew the lining together with it. Okay. Okay. All right, so I have it basted in place. All right, I'm gonna put my phone up again for this part too. Trim some more threads. Okay. All right. All right, so, okay, I basted this sash and the back bodice here. Okay, this is open, so this is the main fabric and this is the lining. All right, so this was the only part that was at all confusing to testers. So I'm gonna go real slow on this part. This is the strap, okay? I'm gonna fold it, but we have to connect it. So I'm gonna fold it down and around, and it's gonna sit right here. Okay, so I'm going to move it in so that you have a 3/8 inch seam allowance, but you're pinning the strap just like this. Okay, I'm going to do it again. All right. So here, just make sure the sides are open. This is our main bodice, or the main fabric of the main bodice. All right. So when you're going to bring it down and then turn it up so that it can connect to the back of the bodice right here. All right. So I'm going to pin this in place. And then I'll show you how I'm going to attach the lining with the main fabric there. Hope y'all aren't like dizzy, guys. Lessons learned about pre-charging your phone. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pin. And I'm just pinning the main side of the strap to the main side of the back side bodice. It's like right under here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and baste that strap in place. All right. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're completely going to put the lining of the main bodice right sides together with the main fabric. Okay, so I'm just now going to sew a little like the rest of the rectangle. Sorry, it'll be easier if I show you like this. Okay, so I just now have it right sides together. Where I had it opened up and where we did not sew under the curve before is now where we're going to go and re-sew that area. And then we're going to sew down the side of the back bodice too. Okay. So we're sewing just from under the arm where we stopped where the flutter was, all the way down to the back. This is now the back, this side of the back bodice, and then down like this. So it's going to be like a little rectangle. Okay. Just making sure all my pieces are still in there. And you just want to make sure that your seam allowance is right on so that you can match up perfectly where you stopped sewing earlier, where the flutters were attached. Okay, so when we pull it out, oh, you want to clip that corner. Thankfully that was easy to go back and do. So this is the corner of the back bodice right here. So it's just really difficult to make that crisp if it's like a deep corner. You just trim a little bit of that off. Okay. Woo! Sorry, guys. All right, so then you pull it out. So we have, ta-da, this is the front, and it's now attaching all the way, this is the sash, okay, and the sash when you pull it back, here's the back bodice here, okay. So it's several steps, but totally worth it, and super fun. Okay, mine's not turning out all the way. Oh, I see what I did. I caught some of the side strap in there. All right, let me gotta seam rip it. So, I was not careful enough when I was sewing that corner. Okay, it's not too big of a deal. Just gonna undo that section right here and resew that. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I put the strap out of that section. It makes you feel human. Yes, I make mistakes all the time. I rarely make anything that I don't have to seam rip. Rarely. Rarely. Okay. I'm wondering if I'm going to have to move it all the way, but I think I can do it just by trying one more time. Being really careful right there. The other thing too is like just distractions. I mean, obviously it's somewhat distracting to do this, but then like even just like everybody has distractions while they're sewing. Uh-oh. Hey Jacob. Thank you. That's the baby waking up from her short nap. I'm really thankful. My 14-year-old helps so much with the kids. We'll see if they will stay happy so I can finish the whole outfit because I'm almost done. I would love to be able to show you the whole thing on video. Finished. Okay, great. Okay, so I fixed it. There's the strap now. And this is the sash, and this is the back bodice. Okay. I'm going to turn it right side out. Now I'm going to do the other side. So I'll show you again. I'll pick up the phone again to show you all the other side. Okay. Oh, how fun. Some Disney books fabric. That's going to be so cute, Brittany. Yes, the video will stay in the group, but then also we'll post it on YouTube for future reference. Okay, so we've already done this side of the bodice. It's fully connected. Okay, now we're going to do this side. So here's our main fabric. This is our lining. Okay, so we didn't sew all the way. We stopped here. So now we're going to... Oh wait, we can't do the strap yet. I need to do the back bodice. Okay, so for the back bodice, I'm going to do the sash right here. Okay, and then I'm going to have to pull the back bodice. Okay, so when you open it all the way up, this is right here is the right side. And I'm going to fold it all the way over to attach to this side here. Oh, how fun. Rocking that baby to sleep. I should be rocking my baby to sleep, but my 14-year-old is helping. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then we'll do the strap piece. Okay, hi Sadie. Thanks for joining us. So I'm sewing Michelle's. It's a new release this week, and I am just using fabric that I got at Joann's. That's normally where I buy my wovens from. I buy almost all of my knits from So English. They're just awesome, really amazing, and fun to work with. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to. I like to see the fabric, so I really do like to go to Joann's. So I'm using this apple fabric, and then some other florals that don't necessarily. They weren't like matching, but they go really well. There's some coordinating colors into it. Okay. So I'm going to attach the sash. Making sure that I have about 1/2 inch on the top and bottom. Yeah, Sadie. I love So English. I have some dinosaur knit. That's like the next thing. I made the girls some, I used the mermaid double brush poly and made them some mermaid leggings. It was so fun. Anyways, I have some dinosaur knit, and my sister-in-law is having her first baby. She's having a boy, so I'm gonna make him something out of that soon. Her baby shower is in a few weeks. Okay, so I've pinned the sash. Okay, and now I'm gonna try to hold it where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so here's the back bodice. Okay, so I'm folding it to meet at the other side for the other back bodice. So the back bodice is like really, really skinny. So it'll make more sense when you see the pattern pieces. All right. Thanks for joining me, guys. My poor kids. They're actually doing okay. They're doing pretty good, guys. I'm going to be thankful. Okay, so I'm going to base that in place. So it's the sash on top of, or it's the back bodice on top of the sash, on top of the right side of this side back bodice. So many words, guys. Okay, so now I'm going to do the strap part. If Evie doesn't stop. You bought the dinos last week. Oh, how fun. Well, do you know what you're going to make, Sadie? Let me know if you're going to make... Aw. Hey, guys, is she okay? Sorry for the cryingness. Hey, guys.
I don't know what's wrong with Evie.
Could you give her some milk?
Milk?
Yeah. Okay. If she doesn't stop crying, I promise, guys. I'm just going to show you the strap, and then I just may have to show you the finished dress, because at that point, we're done. You've already seen me do it on the other side, but I honestly don't know if I can do it one-handed. Let me see. Okay. I don't know, guys, if I can even show you one-handed. Let me try. Sorry. I'll flip it around. Okay. Alright, so sorry, guys. So here's the side. We're opening it up. Okay, so here's the right side of the lining. Here's the right side of the main. We're going to take the other strap. So this is the strap from the side that's going to go to this back. So you're going to fold it down. You flip it around under like this. Okay. And then you're going to pin it about 1/2 inch from the side right here. Just like this. Okay. I know it's hard to see. Let me get it pinned in place. Oh, your baby's crying too? All of our babies are crying. I do need a tripod. Okay, I have one. I can't find it. Yes, that's the story of my life. I'll have something cool, and I'll know where it is, and then not be able to do it. A little hoodie. Oh, that's cute, Sadie. If you think of the name, tell me. What did you use? Tiffany, what did you use out of it? Sadie, you used the pattern from my nephew too. fun. I was thinking about making Kyle's like a onesie kind of thing. Okay, I'm going to sew the strap in place. Sorry for the cough too, guys. I had a summer cold last week. And this is actually way better than it was. Okay, so now I'm going to put the lining and the side bodice, or the main bodice right sides together. At this point, the bodice is almost fully constructed, so it feels like you have to twist it around a little bit, you know, to get everything in place. Poor little Evie. She's got so many little helpers. Yes, Kits is the hat. And I was going to make a little Kits to go with it too. Okay, we're almost done, guys. Alright, so this is, we're going to sew under the arm to the edge and then straight down right here. And then we'll be able to turn it right side out, which is super fun. So I'm going to try to get to that point without everyone crying. And then I can attach the skirt later and just share pictures of that part. Okay. I love turning a bodice right side out. I mean, y'all, it just feels magical. Felicia always laughs at me in my patterns because I normally say in my patterns like, now marvel at the beautiful thing you just made. Okay, I'm going to be extra careful when I come down, since when I did that earlier, I got the strap in there. Alright, let's hope the strap's in the right spot. Okay. Hey! Alright. So great, guys. Magical. Alright. So, here's the bodice. Here's the front. As you can tell, the bodice that goes, it's solid, like around to the back strap. So here's the front. And then this is what the back looks like. And this is your sash here. And that's so the back bodice section is very narrow. It's really small. And then we'll tie our bow right there. Alright, guys. So next I'm gonna go take care of my baby. And then I'm gonna press it well and top stitch the bodice before I add the skirt. And I did do the top version, so the skirt's pretty short. And I will post pictures of hopefully Juliet modeling her new one. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really happy with it, the way it turned out. I think it's super cute. Someone earlier had mentioned about it being a tunic length, and I actually really like that too. So if she doesn't like the top length, I would actually probably add maybe this fabric and do a trim at the bottom to make it a little bit longer for a tunic. I think that's a really good idea. Plus, my daughter really loves wearing tights, so that would be good for that. So thanks, y'all, so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoy Michelle's. If you have any questions or any trouble along the way, please just ask in the group. We love to help each other out. And thanks for watching.